Control Fire Systems devotional when God whispers. And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore the mountains, and broke in pieces the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire the sound of a low whisper. 1 Kings 19:11-12. Not every miracle is loud. Let's be honest, sometimes we expect God to show up in dramatic ways. That's exactly where the prophet Elijah was. He had just experienced one of the most astonishing moments in biblical history, calling fire down from heaven, defeating the prophets of Baal, and witnessing Israel turn back to God. If there was ever a moment where God showed up, it was on Mount Carmel. And yet, the very next chapter opens with Elijah, running for his life. Jezebel, the queen, hears what happened and threatens him. Elijah, who just saw fire fall from the sky, runs into the wilderness, collapses under a tree, and begs God to let him die. How can such victory turn into such despair so quickly? That's when God calls Elijah to Mount Horeb. And in a moment that defies Elijah's expectations, God isn't in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. None of the dramatic signs. Where is he? In a whisper. The Monday Morning Blues. This passage has always hit home for me, especially as a pastor. There's a kind of exhaustion that sneaks up on you after spiritual highs. We call it the Monday Morning Blues. You spend all week preparing for Sunday. You pour your soul into preaching, encouraging, praying. Then Monday comes, and instead of rest, there's emptiness. Sometimes after a weekend where I've seen God move, I crash. I'm most prone to depression on these days. It's not because I doubt God, it's because I'm tired. And when I'm tired, I don't always hear him clearly. Or worse, I assume he's gone silent. There have been times, more than I want to admit, when I've felt like Elijah under that tree. So worn out, so emotionally spent that I've prayed, Lord, I can't do this anymore. Just take my life. I would never take my own life. I've seen the destruction that brings. My sister did. And we live with that pain every day. But I have asked God to take me, and I've been serious about it. Make it a heart attack or a freak accident. I'm just too tired. I feel like a failure. I feel worthless. I've told him, I don't see you in the storm. I don't feel you in the fire. All I hear is a whisper, and even that feels far away. But that whisper, that still, small voice, was him. God in the whisper. God didn't rebuke Elijah for expecting more. He just gently realigned him. I'm not always in the fire, Elijah. I'm here. You just have to listen differently. And that's what I'm learning. You'd think I'd have it down by now, but here I am, 52 years old, and I still forget. I still look for him to show up in the ways I expect, sometimes even in the ways I demand. But God is just as present in the gentle whisper as he is in the fire from heaven miracle. He speaks in the big and the small, the public and the private, the earthquake and the quiet breeze. Learning to listen again. This devotional was hard for me to write. Then again, they all are. I want to learn this and live this. I want it to stick. I want to see the power of God not just in the thunder and shaking mountains, but in the whispers. Because the whisper is enough. The whisper says you're not alone. The whisper says, keep going. The whisper says, I'm not finished with you yet. Weekly challenge. Does it seem like God isn't showing up in the ways you expect? Do you feel like he's distant, quiet, or missing altogether? Maybe you've been praying, seeking, and serving, expecting fire from heaven, and instead all you hear is silence. Or worse, a whisper so faint you're not even sure it's him. This week, pause and ask yourself, am I only looking for God in the dramatic? Have I already decided how he should speak, and missed how he is speaking? Is it possible that the place I expect him to be is not the place he has chosen to meet me? Maybe God isn't absent. Maybe he's present, whispering directly into your heart. Don't assume he's not working just because he's not loud. Make space for quiet this week. Step outside, sit in stillness, or simply breathe and pray. Lord, if you're whispering, help me hear you. Don't let me miss you just because you're gentle. Sometimes the whisper is the miracle. Prayer, Lord, I confess that I often want fireworks. I want clarity. I want you to shake the mountains. But most of the time you speak in whispers. Help me slow down. Help me listen. Help me trust that you are just as near in the quiet as in the thunder. I need your voice, even when it's gentle. Amen.